welcome back to my channel. Today's story time is gonna be about when I went on the worst date ever, like ever. But before I start, I just want to remind you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. All right, now let's get into this story. So about this time a year ago, I was going on dates, trying to get cuffed for cuffing season, you know, and giving a lot of people chances that I shouldn't have, which was my first mistake. I was on all the dating sites just to make sure I got every option possible. I was even putting my Instagram on there just in case someone liked me and we didn't match. Like, I was really trying to get cuffed. So one morning I'm going through my Instagram DMs and I see this guy message me talking about he found me from one of those sites, but we never matched or something like that. So he tells me I'm pretty, he wants to take me out, yada, yada, yada. And so I go to look at his profile, he's decent looking. So I'm like, okay, what's the deal? The conversation started out pretty good, so we DM'd for a few days until he finally asked me out. I said, yeah, sure, what did you have in mind? And he was like, I just want to take you out and show you how a real boss gonna treat you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I gotta link this nigga. I'm liking where this is going. And like, his profile was matching what he was saying, so I didn't think anything he was saying was cap. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm about to link him. So we agreed that he's gonna pick me up for dinner and drinks the next night. And I'm like, okay, everything's looking cool. And that's that. The next day is when things start getting sus. So while I'm getting ready for the date, he hits me up and he's like, hey, do you think you can Uber there? And I'm like, what? Like, in my head, I'm thinking, you was talking all this big shit about coming to pick me up, like how you about to come in this nice car, blah, blah, blah. Like, just talking big shit, you know. And now I'm like, now you want me to Uber there? So I'm like, yeah, I can, but what happened? And he's just like, never mind. I'll just come pick you up. And I'm like, okay. And I finished getting ready. I don't think anything of it. So he was supposed to pick me up at 7, and by the time I was getting ready, I realized that it's almost 7 and he still hasn't hit me up like to ask me for my address or anything like that. So I'm like, okay, let me hit him up. No response. I'm like, okay, maybe he means that we're going to, like, that he's gonna leave his house at 7 to pick me up, not that he's gonna be there to pick me up. So I just chill, you know, finish getting ready. And then 7 comes and still nothing from him. So I'm like, okay, I hit him up, nothing. And I'm like, all right. I chill, I wait probably like 15 more minutes, and then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna call him. If he don't answer, then this is a dub, like, it's whatever. And I call him and he don't answer, but he FaceTimes me back right away, and he's like in some car, like with the drop top and all this stuff, and he's like, hey, my bad, something came up, I'm so sorry I'm running late, but I'm about to be on the way now, send me your address. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was happy because it was looking like he had the car he said he had, like everything was going to plan. So I was like, cool. I sent him my address. Well, I sent him the address a few houses down because I never gave anybody my real address, and thank God, because I don't want this nigga having my address. So yeah, I sent him the address, and he pulls up in about 20 minutes. I get to the car, it's nice like he said, like I seen when he FaceTimed me, and we say hi, you know, whatever. And I could tell something is off, but I couldn't really quite put my finger on it, so I was just like, whatever. So he started driving all crazy, and I was like, oh Lord, what did I get myself into? Little did I know. And on top of him driving all crazy, I didn't even know where we were going because the place he said was someplace like I never heard of before. So yeah. So we pulled into the place, and it's like definitely not at all how he described, like at all. Like he described a fancy like upscale steakhouse type place, and this was very much Applebee's vibes. Like people were there in their pajamas, like not dressed up at all. And mind you, I was dressed up like oh hell no. But I was having a decent time, I guess, and I was like, I'm already here, I might as well just go on with the day. So we get there, and you know, they ask you like for booths and tables, like which one you want. So he's like, I'm gonna let the lady choose, she can have whatever she want. And I'm like so the waiter comes and asks if we wanted to drink, you know, and I get a margarita, and he asked for a Sprite, and I thought it was sort of weird that he didn't get anything to drink, but he was also driving, so I thought that, I don't know, maybe he was being cautious. No. So the waiter comes back with the drinks, and tell me why this boy pulls out a prescription bottle and pops 2 perks in the drink and let him dissolve before he drinks them. And I'm like, oh wow, so that's why he didn't get a drink. And I knew something was off. Now I know exactly what it was. So I'm just like sitting there. So I'm like, whatever, I'm already here, I might as well just get through this. And it only got worse. So we order food, and as soon as we start eating, someone calls him and he says, damn, he declines the phone call. And I just pretend like I didn't see and keep eating my food. But whoever it was kept blowing up his phone like nonstop. So I'm thinking it's like a girlfriend, baby mama, some type of situation. So I'm like, maybe you should answer that. He's like, nah, let's keep going. And I'm like, okay. But then he starts acting like all nervous and jittery and whatnot. And I'm like, dang, I don't know if it's because of the perks or whoever the hell is calling him. And they keep calling. So finally I'm just annoyed. I'm just like, answer it. Like, what the hell? He answered, and I just hear a guy going off on him. And he not saying nothing. The guy just go off for a little while. And then all the guy that I'm with say is, okay, bro. And he hang up the phone. And I'm just like, okay, I'm just pretending like I don't know what's going on. And because I really don't even know what's going on. So he looks at me, he's like, hey, I have to cut the day short, I'm sorry. And I'm like, why, what happened? And basically what he said was the car was not his, it's his roommate's, and he took the keys while his roommate was sleeping. That's why he was so late linking with me, because he had to wait for his roommate to fall asleep to get the keys. And that his roommate says he don't bring the car back right now. He's reporting the car stolen to the police. So he has to go return the car. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Let's just get the bill and leave. Like, I was already ready to go. The nigga had been tweaking off the perks before any of this shit had happened. So yeah, the bill comes and he looks at me and he's like, hey, do you have $20 I can borrow to pay the bill?
Is this nigga serious?
And I'm like, seriously? And he's like, yeah, I have to fill the tank back up. I wasn't expecting to have to do that. I was gonna use that money for our food, so I don't have any extra to spend. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just ready to go. I give him the money and we go to the car. So as we're in the car getting ready to go, the man starts calling again, the roommate. And he's like, dang, he's like, look, I'm probably not gonna have enough time to drop you off and get the car back in time. So there's a train station up the street. I'm just gonna have to drop you off there and you're gonna have to get yourself home. The train station. And I was just like, at that point, I was just so over it. I was just like, fine, just drop me off there.
I'm ready to get the fuck ASAP after this shit.
And he dropped me off talking about some, hey, hope to see you again soon. Like, what? As soon as he pulled off, I blocked him on everything and called me an Uber. I never heard from him again, thank God, because that was the worst date ever. Well, that was my worst date experience. If you haven't checked out any of my other videos, go check them out. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks!